What is going on, gamers? Back with some more EX4 gameplay for you guys, featuring Blue Flare as well as Bunny Alliance. Alliance I think is definitely more of a fun deck, but Blue Flare I think actually has some potential. You see here, I'm going to be starting with basically your ideal opening play, the Gaussmon from BT10 plus Memory Boost, hitting a Kiriha, and my opponent is going to go into Terriermon in the back, Terriermon in the front, grabbing a Wendigomon, I believe, to get off a search. And now that he's got two bodies in circulation, it sets up for the Alliance play, so something like Terurimon can come down in the next turn and start swinging at security to be able to get that, those extra security checks and trigger some of your own effects, such as the egg that lets you draw whenever you suspend one of your guys for an effect. And then you've got the Terriermons that have the inherited, which I think the Lotmons and Terrier Assistant also have, basically letting you digivolve into a two-color Digimon for like 2 less cost. Basically, your level 5s just cost 1 when you are attacking with that inherited. So Gaussmon is going to throw his face into security here, unfortunately not dying to the Mimi here, but instead I'm just going to Metal Gray for 5, freezing both of the Terriermons, and since he was so kind enough to put 2 bodies on field, I'm going to go ahead and take advantage of that and then just swing into security, passing the turn with the Kiriha Nene. Now, I didn't actually swing into security again because I run the risk of then the Terurimon coming out and then swinging over it with Alliance. You see there he's able to digivolve into an Antilamon, so I'd lose the Metal Gray, albeit keep my materials, and then he'd be able to recover at the end of the battle. Since he does have now 3 security, he's going to recover, checking 2 security. Nothing great in security, which is a little bit unfortunate because this deck does play a lot of really strong cards that are good in security, like 7 to 8 tamers. You play like 6 or 7 option cards if you're playing like Sorai or Hammer Sparks or anything. That's there as well. But our opponent is just going to go ahead and use that effect in the battle, and then use the Mimi effect to hatch another egg in the breeding area, since he does have a level 5 or higher green Digimon, which definitely helps accelerate the deck quite a little bit. Then Rapidmon is going to come down for 3 using the Mimi, since we've got 1 tamer, suspending 1 thing, and then giving 3 things minus 5,000 that are suspended. So I'm then going to float into the Decker Dramon, drawing 4 off the Decker and then drawing 1 off the Missimon. Total of 5 draws on my opponent's turn. Feels pretty dang good, especially for a Digicross deck where you are using a lot of materials for your hand. You want to keep that hand size up. So Cherubimon is going to come down for a cost of 3, giving itself as well as the Terriermon the on deletion, basically bring it back for free at no cost. So that's fine because I'm not planning on really killing them. We're just going to go Decker into security. The new Metal Gray here for a cost of 3 will let you choose 2 sources on a Digimon and trash them. I love how you can choose sources. So against matchups like Machine Dramon or Black War Greymon, stuff like that, where they have like the pesky protection inherited, you can pick those out, or potentially like a blocker inherited or something is really nice. Hitting like double Cherubi in security is really annoying. Like, I get it, this deck plays a lot of big bodies, but really two back to back. But the cool thing is that we did see our opponent bottom decking 3 yellow Cherubimons earlier on, and then not only that, but now we hit 2 purple Cherubimons in the security here. So that realistically means we're not going to see any more Megas for the game. And I'm going to pass turn here with Mailbird, grabbing back the Metal Greymon from my trash, since I already have Kiriha in play. I can just do that and no big deal. So our opponent is going to push out here. Keep in mind he does have a couple things frozen because I was able to use the Mailbird effect inherited. When your opponent has 2 or more Digimon when attacking, you can just freeze a Digimon, no restrictions attached, of course, aside from the fact that they have to have 2 or more Digimon. But of course Alliance is going to really do that pretty much all the time. So once again, Wendigomon here is going to go ahead and digivolve into the Antilamon for a reduced cost, since you did suspend something via Alliance, and then checking 2 security for 9,000 or something, and then recovering 1 at the end of attack here, but with no Megas to go into. Even if he does go into the Cherubimon, it's not a big deal. The yellow one I think can do some board removal. I think you get to trigger like minus 6,000 or something. It's kind of similar to the Heaven's Judgment option card, which we will actually see a little bit later on in the game. So then Terurimon is just going to be Digivolve to pass turn, and I've got more than enough swings with Metal Greymon in hand. I'm just going to go ahead and and go in for a game. I also let my opponent know that I was kind of misplaying a little bit because I did have the jamming Meal Bergermon in my hand, so it's possible I could have just survived those first couple checks that I did hit into the Trubimon. So still a little bit new to this deck, not seeing the exact ideal plays, but I think it's definitely helpful when you're looking back at gameplay. So we're going to go Gaussmon and then Kiriha Nene. Not the most ideal start, but Tamer is pretty a solid start, especially once you start playing stuff out with Gaussmon. You can swing with the Greymon, swing with the Mailbirds, save them under your Kiriha Nene. And looks like our opponent is going to have a pretty similar idea just by going up into Teruri and then playing his own Dual Tamer. And then I'm going to spit out the Greymon here. So the cool thing about this interaction is you can do the Gaussmon effect first to play a play Greymon, get the search, and then Missymon will trigger, or activate rather, now that it has already met its condition. And now that you have a Digimon in play, you will actually get the draw, even though you only had Gaussmon in field when you did actually declare the attack. So really cool stuff there. So we're just going to pass turn with another Dual Tamer. The thing I do like about the Dual Tamer is that you pretty much always get an extra memory because of the fact that it just says if there are 2 or more Digimon in play, which includes your opponent's side. So basically, even if they're trying to play around your Blue Flare effects, as long as they just have 1 Digimon in play and you have 1, you're going to gain that extra memory. So it's pretty easy to go to like 5 in this deck. 4 or 5 in this deck is pretty nice, especially if you got a memory boost as well. So Antilamon is just going to swing over the Greymon, putting it back under my Tamer, of course, with the save keyword, and then suspending the Lotmon for the Alliance. So a couple things our opponent could do. He's not going to be able to do anything without passing turn, really, but maybe he's going to go into like a Trubimon to save the Lotmon, maybe another Dual Tamer. We see the yellow Shuchong in his hand, so he can definitely just use that to play out a Lotmon, but not going to do that. And then I think if he's got 3 or more security, or 3 or fewer security at the start of the turn, you get an extra draw, so that's kind of cool. But we're going to go +2 with the Dual Tamer here, and then going to go ahead and play out the Metal Greymon using the 2 materials from the hand to play it for a cost of 3, and then again choosing which materials I want to get rid of. But I am actually just going to get rid of the Annoying inherited from the Terriermon Assistant, swinging into security. Once again, hitting another Cherubimon. Like, come on, bro. Like, I know there's a lot of them, but really, first check every single time? I don't know. But anyways, we're going to go Blazing Memory Boost here, and then grabbing 2, not hitting a Kiriha, which is a little bit unfortunate. But like I said, you still have plenty of ways to gain memory. We're going to at least 5 next turn, because we are going to promote a Bluko. Speaking of which, I really, really like Blukomon in this deck. He is the security Digimon. So where at the end of battle, if you hit him in security, he's got the effect of draw 2, and then you get to add him to your hand. So the Henry Shuchong Dual Tamer, I think at the start of main phase, if you got 1 or fewer, you can just play a bunny from your hand, and then the Lotmon is a free recover if you do have Shuchong in play. I think it does specifically need to be like Shuchong herself, not the Dual Tamer, so luckily he does have the yellow Shuchong in hand. And we see the Ordeanmon there. My buddy Pedro here is with the Spice. He has all the crazy techs in the Alliance deck. So he's going to pass turn with that, putting me to 3 with the Dual Tamers, gaining me 1 memory each. And I'm going to promote the Blukomon, so I think I want to play a Digicross Digimon first. So what I'm going to do is going to go ahead and pop the memory boost to go to 5 here. So even if I've just got 1 material, which is exactly what I'm going to do, playing out the Metal Greymon and then using the Greymon. Now I do want to mention, I still hadn't like fully read the Dual Tamer at this point, or rather I thought I understood how it worked, but I basically, what I could have done is definitely just use the materials underneath the Dual Tamer, because I've got both the Greymon and a Metal Greymon. You can just suspend 1 of them, and when you suspend 1, you use 1 material from your trash and 1 material from under your Tamers. So I could have used 1 from under the Tamers. You can still use it if there's nothing applicable in trash. So I could have played that for a 3, little bit of a misplay, but regardless, we are just going to go into Decker Greymon to get the freeze. And then we've got Armor Purge as well. Not that I'm super worried about dying, but it can come up. Maybe if he's got another Rapidmon, like Rapidmon, swing over, -5k, and then I can Armor Purge to save my stack there, which is definitely pretty nice. But yeah, guys, so definitely keeping a track of what your effects do is important. So make sure to read your cards, because I still wasn't fully sure about how this card worked. But anyways, we're going to go Rapidmon, like I said, reducing the cost to 2, I think, with the Dual Tamer, at minus 5k, swinging over the now 5k Decker Greymon, and then now we've got a 2k Metal Greymon. But luckily for me, I don't think the deck really has another way to get like a minus 2k out, except for like the yellow Digimon inheritors, like the Antilamon and the Terurimon have got that. I think it's like end of attack minus 2k. But luckily the Antilamon over there cannot attack currently, so Wendigomon is just going to go ahead and swing. I think our friend is debating whether or not he wants to go security or over the Metal Gray, which if he does go over Metal Gray, it'll definitely just, it'll clear the board. You'll have one less threat to worry about, although I will still get my materials back. So it looks like that's what we're going to do, and he's going to use the effect of the Terriermon to, once that he suspends for Alliance, plus 8k, Psych Attack plus 1, Digivolving for minus 2, so for 1 cost, and then this purple Antilamon gets to end of attack play a green level 3 from your trash, and then of course it does trigger the on play. So I'm going to go ahead and go to plus 2 with the Dual Tamers here, and then like I said, so now this again, a little bit of another misplay, but I could have done this correctly. When you suspend one of them, you can't use 2 materials at a time, so I need to suspend both to use 1 materials each, if that makes sense. So like what you would do is like use the first Dual Tamer, put the Greymon underneath. There's no Mailbird and trash, so that part will fizzle, and then you'll use the second one to put the Mailbird underneath, and then you'll have your Digicross condition. So again, a little bit of a misplay, but you could do that in the correct order with the cards I have on field. So I do apologize about that, guys, but anyways, hopefully it won't be too distracting. And we're going to go Zeke Greymon effectively for 0, being able to get another swing in over the level 5 there, and then just playing a Sora Joe to pass turn. Sora Joe plus Dual Tamer is going to give me infinity memory next turn, guys. I love that I can guarantee myself so much memory with Sora Joe. Honestly, I'm thinking about playing a couple more copies. I think at this point I was playing 2. I might have to try it out at 3. I don't know. Sora Joe's kind of crazy. Especially just because there's so many decks playing searchers, like level 3 searchers and stuff. But anyways, our friend is going to go Black Gargomon and Telamon into security, checking 2, and then utilizing the end of attack to play out another level 3. But like I said, he's playing up a losing battle just because the Blue Flare has so much crazy aggro and so many ways to stun the board. Because he basically has 2 or more Digimon at every single point, it will always make my Melobirds live, it'll always make my Greymons live. So we are going to see Heaven's Judgment, which is a pretty cool card. Minus 6,000 triggered multiple times for each color you have in play, so he is able to do minus 18k, which is pretty cool. You can spread that out as well. If I did have multiple things on board. But regardless, I am just going to be able to go Metal Greymon, this time using the effects of the Dual Tamers correctly, so 1 from Trash and 1 from the Tamers, freezing everything, swinging security. I've got jamming this time, so no more Cherubimons in security are going to kill me. And then we're going to swing a couple times, hitting a Heaven's Judgment, killing me, and then sticking our 2 materials underneath one of our Tamers. And then utilizing the second Dual Tamer once again to use the same effect to stick Greymon from Trash, Mailbird from underneath Tamers, swinging security, and ending the game that way. So guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed that showcase of Blue Flare and why I've been enjoying it so much, this format. EX4 has honestly been a really, really cool format. There's tons of really sick decks, so I highly encourage you guys to try it out if you have not already. But anyways, guys, that's going to do for this one. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.